How's it going, YouTube? I'm High Wizard Bill Jenkins, and this is the Forge.
Welcome to the Forge, a fundamentally oversized resource generation engine.
Alright, it's time for the long-awaited tour. I'm pretty sure there's been like at least 5 people waiting to see this. So, here we go. Here it is, the Forge. We're going to give a little building by building tour. There's one addition over there, a steel building, which I've added in the time that I've been making this video because I've been kind of putting it off and also trying really hard to make it good. So I got a couple things that weren't here before, like this little overpass and some fluid trucks and that kind of thing. But we're going to start the main building in the facility, which I like to call
The Laser Castle.
This is the control room where all the power is routed through. The main power comes through that switch, and it's routed through these 6 switches. 5 for these buildings, and 1 for all of the miners and drone ports on them. I'm going to move those down here eventually and put some signs and stuff up here and make this a real control room. Put all the power stuff down there. Then yeah, I've got a nice view of the facility here. We're looking the roads and everything. Anyway, let's go into the loading bay, where you can kind of see through this here into the logistics floor and the loading bay with all the trucks. So here we've got 18 truck stations, bringing all the ingots out to the rest of the facility by truck. Over at the back here, we've got all of the water coming in the facility into these fluid buffers through 14 Mark II pipes, going up to the roof over there. Then it comes down from the roof onto the various floors. These truck stations back here are doing copper. 5 of them are moving copper and 1 is Caterium. That one back there. And the rest all up here are moving out iron. That brings us to our power room for the laser castle and the elevator. Alright, in here we have our power array, where we have a separate switch for each of the functions of the laser castle. We've got the fuel ports over here, which bring in fuel to power the rest of the drone ports and all of the trucks. And the ore ports, which are the ports bringing in ore to fuel all the refineries. The pumps, which there are 56 pumps pumping water all the way up to the roof. The lights, the miners, which there are 2 over in the basement. The loading bay is all the truck stations, and this switch is all of the machines, the main power for the building that goes to the elevator. We'll head up through the elevator here to the logistics floor. I call this the iron logistics floor, but really it's the main output floor for the whole building. We'll continue this tour in the daytime. Okay, now that it's daytime, ignore those. Let's get back to where we were. These are the drone ports bringing fuel in, right here. Those go back there to fuel the other drone ports and some of the truck stations. And the rest all comes over here. This is where all the copper comes down into this compressor. To here, and that goes over to those guys, where we've got a bunch of stuff going down into truck stations. This is where we've got all the metal here. But here we've got all of the iron coming down through this big compressor and then around here. I like it, it's nice. Then it goes into these storage buffers and down there. Over here we've got the water intake, which is just over here, comes in here into those guys. This is the miners in the basement, previously mentioned. And over here is where we got the drone ports out this door, where we have 6 drone ports bringing iron onto the facility. These are also iron right here, and then there are various other ports around the area. Anyway, let's head back inside. So we've got some inputs and mergers and splitters and whatnot here on the logistics floor. Most of our pipe work is on the logistics floor. Not all of it, because I didn't want to do floor holes right behind the machines. So I have some pipes on the production floor. Here we've got the rocket fuel going up to the next floors, and the pipes carrying all the water up. We go back over to the elevator. We'll go up to the iron production floor. Here we go to iron production. That brings us to the first production floor, where we are bringing out all of the iron. Got some copper coming down and some Caterium. And a whole lot of iron. We're processing 13,320, I think, ingots of iron, 6,000 copper, and 1,200 Caterium. And all that is coming from 7,200 iron ore, 2,400 copper, and 2,400 Caterium ore. And it's taking 8,200 water through those 14 pipes. I've got this kind of little design with the signs I put here under the refineries, where I think it kind of looks like molten metal. They're just kind of like sitting in this pool of molten metal. I thought that looked pretty cool. And yeah, that's the production floor. We'll skip the elevator this time. Oh, just kidding, actually. I'll show you this power building really quick. Here we've just got a power switch where it's just taking care of all the buildings, all the machines on this floor, in case I want to turn off one floor at a time. And then I'll show you up here, we've got a little observation deck. We've actually got a couple of them. There's another one over there on the other side, where we have the copper logistics floor. And we've also got these nice little decks out here where we can access the building from the outside on the different floors. This is the copper logistics floor. It's nothing special, just feeding copper into the machines above and water. Back here we've got the drone ports through these doors. There's another one on that side, where we have 4 drone ports bringing copper into the facility. That's uncanny timing with all 4 drones landing right now. Pretty cool, no big deal. These guys are all bringing copper in. Average of like 600 each, give or take a little bit. And that all feeds up to the copper production floor, which is a lot like the iron production floor. It's got a couple less machines. We'll take this way, go up here, you can see all the pumps and everything. This is the copper production floor. And much like the iron floor, it's got a little power room over here, and a whole lot of machines. We're outputting a bunch of copper, and the Caterium flowing down from above. Call the elevator again here. And we can go up to the next logistics floor. Here we have a nice little view of the forest. Up this side we've got our drone ports. That's where our Caterium comes from. Over here we've got our Caterium flowing into the production floor above. Just like the other floors. and then the drone ports are above this floor. So there's no door to get out there from here. So we'll go over here. We'll go take this elevator. Not an elevator. Shaft. We'll take the shaft. And this is the Caterium floor, where we've got another 40 refineries here processing, and I forgot to do the molten metal thing. That's too bad. Yeah, we're gonna have, by the way, if you noticed all of the yellow lights and stuff, this whole place is planned out for Mark 6 belts, which I don't have yet. So it's a little bit choked, but it's still running at like a really, really high capacity. It's still putting out way, way more than I need. So it's fine. When I get Mark 6 belts, it's going to get upgraded and it's going to put out big numbers. All right. That brings us to the end of the production floors. We'll go up to the roof. Where we've got the, well, let's go up here. I'll show you what the pipelines look like right there. Just over here, we've got this pipeline array where the water goes up there, and then it comes down through the floor and over and down. I kind of built some frames and stuff on it, you know, hold the pipes and whatnot. We'll go up to the roof. And here we've got the building that houses all of the fluid buffers on the roof. This is our water tower. And that is the laser castle. All right, let's move on to the next building. We'll do the iron building next, where we come out here onto the road, and the trucks go through this intersection here to the iron building, where they turn over here. The truck paths in 1.2 are incredibly necessary for this build. Incredibly necessary. There's no way I could have done this otherwise. Here is the loading bay for the iron production building, which I like to call
Iron Building.
Here's the power room, which again, we've got, don't have our outputs marked because I don't have the signs there for some reason. Oh, my game crashed and I lost all that. Right. Here we have power, main power, and loading bay. I had another switch for production, but I'm realizing now that that was lost in the crash. Got these nice little lights on the edge here to light up the pathway, which I thought were pretty neat. Had the street lights in here. Yeah, there are 12 truck stations in here, all bringing in iron ingots to feed this facility. I built these ones a little too close together. There's only 2 squares here, so there wasn't enough room to have no junction here, so I had to break this apart, or else this would all just be one big junction and it would kind of impede the flow a little bit. Yeah, other than that, it flows very well. In the laser castle, I gave it a little more space. I'll go over the paths later on. Brings us to the elevator. We'll go up to the input logistic floor, where all of these inputs are managed and balanced. All of the iron on this floor gets split up through these splitter arrays and sent up to the 6 production floors. We've got 2 floors making screws, 2 floors making rods, and 2 floors making plates. Each of the floors is pretty similar. It's kind of just this mass of constructors. We're putting out a whole lot of plates, a whole lot of screws, and a whole lot of rods. And I just kind of nudged each cluster of constructors over a little bit so that they can each just kind of stack with the inputs and outputs like this. And then I did the same thing on the other side with the outputs. Took me quite a long time to make all these catwalks, which I never use. You can go everywhere and look at everything on the catwalks. We'll show you the rest of the floors, but they're pretty similar, so we'll just kind of make that a quick montage. We're going to skip the logistics floors because they don't have anything on them in this building. I built logistics floors, and then the way I laid it out, I didn't really need them. So just kind of got some extra stops. That's okay. This brings us to the top floor, which is kind of measuring all of our outputs currently. It's not going anywhere yet because there's nowhere to go. But yeah, that concludes the iron pillar. That brings us to the next building on our tour, which is this building, which I like to call
The wire spire.
This building processes all of my Caterium 1200, as I mentioned before. This is the loading bay, nice little 1 truck station loading bay. Where there was a rock behind here, so I had to build this little bulkhead. This is the power room. Got matching power rooms in all these buildings, where again I had a 3rd switch for production, but I lost that in the crash, I guess. And all the signs I put down, sweet, no big deal. We'll go up the floors to see the production floors, where again this is a little repetitive, so I'll just collapse this into a quick montage. This is where we're making a whole bunch of wire and quick wire. That is going to bring us to the next building in our tour, which I like to call
The Tower of Sheets.
This entire building is devoted to making copper sheets. It makes way too many, way more than I'd ever need. So I actually routed some of the copper recently over to that building, which does aluminum, for some aluminum production. So it was doing 6,000 copper sheets or 3,000 copper sheets or something like that. It was turning 6,000 ingots into copper sheets. But I just changed some over, so it's not quite doing that much anymore. As you can see, only these 2 are moving. Here we've got our, again, matching power station. And the elevator, which we'll call here. And we'll take a nice little montage of the production floors here. Where, like I said, on this floor, or in this building, we make all copper sheets, the whole place. So we'll blast through this real quick, and then again on the top we are measuring the outputs. All right, that brings us to, well, that's the steel building there. I will show you the steel building, but we're going to do the aluminum building first, because I actually filmed a bunch of nice shots of the aluminum building, and I haven't had any of the steel building. here we have the aluminum production building, where this truck station brings in copper. And then this is kind of work in progress still, where I have these holes that I cut into the floor, where there's a limestone node down there, and also some fluid truck stations that are going to be taking the wastewater over to the steel building for concrete production. I'm going to build a little, some trim and stuff around here. This is just, I just kind of slapped it together real quick. I haven't even changed the path here, I noticed.
I like to call this building
The Ingot.
So here we are making a whole lot of aluminum. I think we're processing 3,000 bauxite on the default recipes, where we've got some overclocked machines here processing the aluminum solution. And over here we're making scrap, and then we're recycling it through these buffers back into these machines. Again, this building is planned for Mark 6 belts, so it's not running at max capacity, but it's also not backing up. So it's totally fine because it's putting out a lot of aluminum, as you will see. Ignore that hole. I had to move the elevator for this stuff down here. This here is the power building, which again, we've got our switch array, a little more here in the aluminum than the other buildings, because we've got more drone ports and pumps and stuff like that. These here are processing the aluminum scrap into ingots. Or it looks like they're just backed up by the silica. A lot of stuff I planned it all for Mark 6 belts, so I just kind of ran all the belts because I didn't want to change all the configurations. I just figured I'd upgrade them all. So we've got a lot of silica being processed upstairs, and then coming down here. And then we've got all the ingots going upstairs, where eventually we'll be making, I believe, 3,000 aluminum ingots per minute in this building. And then we'll look at the logistics floors in this building because I really like the way they look. Oh, I did map the elevator, but it's different because I moved it. Crap. It's annoying. So over here we've got the miners, basement miner, one miner, bringing in bauxite. We've also got this miner, which is limestone. Down here is where the fluid trucks are going to be taking wastewater, and this one is limestone. This is where the trucks come down. This is all kind of under construction, so there's some gaps here and a bit of a bulkhead, and that's the exit ramp over there. Go back up into this hole here. So in here we've got some nice shots here where I'll show you. We've got all of our pipe work and all of our belt work, where we've got drones bringing in coal and bauxite into the facility, and then being fed up into the steel production, or up into the aluminum production. We'll go up to the next logistics floor, which is right above this manufacturing floor, or production floor, since this is where we're making the ingots. This floor is where we run the ingots up into a balancer or a compressor, and then into the various production machines, which then bring their outputs down onto this floor, and then they run up a couple of lifts into the third logistics, the output logistic floor. Here we've also got a bunch of overflow belts running over into these smart sinks, or these awesome sinks. Why did I say smart sinks? And then up here on the main manufacturing floor, this is where we're processing rock quartz into silica. We're processing ingots into alkali aluminum sheets, fluid tanks, and alclad, what are these? Alclad casings. The alternate recipe. Because I had extra copper. So the sinks are being fed over there. Again, ignore the hole. Step. Remove that. And this is my favorite logistics floor, the output floor, where this is showing all of our output. We have way more fluid tanks than we need. Same with everything else, really. Putting out quite a bit for all of our phase 3 stuff that we've made. Then up on the top, we have our drones, which are going to be outputting these to the vault project, which you can see kind of in the distance there, over there. Yeah, right now they're outputting to nitrogen packaging and rocket fuel and stuff like that. We're using the same water tower principle as we did over there, where we're pumping all of our liquids initially up to the roof and then down into the production. I've yet to build a little building up here. So this is all kind of work in progress.
I also forgot to include this little tidbit, the sub-basement, where we have some drone port logistics, and then we have the base of the pipes and the pumps, where we can monitor our input.
Now I'll quickly go over the paths. I wanted to have this little roadway system here, but I also wanted to make sure it wasn't too congested. So I actually had to space everything out quite a bit, which is why I have this extra tile here, and that's why I have the blocks painted in this way and not the other paint line which goes on the edge of the blocks, because you need this little blue section to stop the paths from all becoming one big junction and to help your trucks flow a little better. I deleted a bunch of them because I've been messing around with trucks because I was trying to get these trucks going. But I have here what I call vestigial paths. These paths will never be used, but they're just in here to confuse the AI, because there's a bug where the trucks detect other trucks on the same path, and then they go like 8 kilometers an hour for absolutely no reason. So I've broken up a lot of the longer paths with like this kind of stuff. I discovered you don't have to connect them to anything later on. I did have more in here, but I deleted them because I was testing some stuff. But it's not too bad over here because there's not a lot of congestion over here. It's more important over there by the laser castle. Yeah, there's not too much to say about the paths other than they're a little buggy. It's really annoying placing these here because they collide with the ramps that they're on, which is pretty buggy and annoying. But other than that, this new truck path system is pretty sweet. I definitely wouldn't have been able to do this otherwise. Yeah, that's her. That's the Forge.
Well, guys, thanks so much for watching. I just want to say that the reason that this build is still in an unfinished state when this video came out is because, as I mentioned in some of those clips, my game had been crashing a lot on save, and I've been losing a lot of progress. So I've had to abandon this world, and I've started a new game with modifiers and stuff. So it's kind of sad. It's not going to go any farther unless there's some significant updates to the game. But anyway, you made it to the end. So thanks for watching again. You have to like and subscribe now. So you watch the whole video. You can't leave. You have to hit those buttons. Just kidding. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, YouTube.